Good evening. Thank you guys so much for coming to support the Newman Center tonight. This Newman Center has a very special place in my heart, and tonight I'm just going to tell you why that is. But first I want to start by telling y'all a little bit about myself. I'm a junior studying civil engineering here. I grew up in a little village south of Jefferson City called St. Elizabeth on a cattle farm. Some of you may have heard of that, but probably not. So coming to college was a bit of a shock. There were new people everywhere, and I didn't know everybody anymore. I definitely didn't know who I was. I eventually found my new village and my identity in Christ here at the Newman Center, but it took a bit. I came to college carrying a lot of baggage and hurt, much of which I blamed on the Catholic Church. Not because I had a good reason for this, but because it was easier to blame somebody than to face that baggage. I didn't see God as a good father. I saw him as a disciplinarian who set all these rules that I had to follow. I wasn't so sure about the Catholic Church anymore. I'd already decided not to go to Mass on multiple Sundays during my senior year of high school because I didn't see the use, and I would rather sleep in. So when I came to college, I told myself, why not stop going to Mass altogether? This is my time to find a church that can teach me how to pray and read the Bible, something that I had struggled to figure out throughout high school. I would try and stop when it got hard, and then decide to try again, but it got hard, so I quit again, and eventually decided to quit trying altogether. But God had a very different plan in store for me. My roommate, of all people, was Catholic. A devout Catholic who went to Mass every Sunday, and she knew I was Catholic. I couldn't just not go to Mass. What would she think of me? So I went to Mass with her on Sundays, and we joined a Bible study together, which I was actually excited for. Hi, Lauren. I still barely stepped foot in the Newman Center and struggled to find my place in college. The same thing that had happened in high school was happening again. I had friends in classes, in organizations, but nobody wanted to hang out outside of that. I was so lonely. And I saw the joy that the students at the Newman Center brought my roommate. She urged me to go with her, but I was scared. I told myself, I'm not holy enough. They're going to see right through me. I don't even want to be a part of this church anymore. But I went anyways, and I hid in the study room. Working on homework, barely talking to anybody. I gradually started to come around more often. And I noticed something. Everybody seemed to care about me, yet they didn't know me at all. They had no reason to care about me. I also saw a joy. The joy that I had been searching for. Before I knew it, I was going to the Newman Center every day, and I was so excited to go. And I was even more excited to go to Bible study. I was learning that God does love us, and He's made so many covenants that proves this. I learned that He wasn't just a God of rules. Then one day, after Bible study, our Bible study leader asked us if we had signed up to go to Awakening, which is one of our retreats here. And out of peer pressure, I signed up because everybody else said that they'd signed up. And to be honest, I was so extremely nervous and excited all at the same time for this retreat. I'd never been on a retreat before. I had no idea what to expect. And I definitely didn't know what God had in store for me that weekend. I encountered His presence like never before. I saw His love like never before. And I saw the beauty of the Catholic faith for the first time, especially in the sacraments. I went to confession for the first time, and I'm not quite sure how long, but it had been a while. I went to adoration, something that I'd only ever done a couple of other times in my life. Not only did I encounter God's love through the sacraments, I encountered it through everybody there. I texted my mom this after that weekend, and this is quoted because I went back and found the text. There are some really awesome people here at Newman who really care about all of us. They are some of the best people I've ever met. And to that she responded, they're true Christians. And I couldn't agree with that statement more. The people here at the Newman Center are true Christians. After that weekend, my doubts about the Catholic Church were gone. I knew I needed to change, but I had no idea where to start. But luckily, I had the best support system here at the Newman Center to walk with me and to teach me. I learned how to better treat people with love. I learned more about our faith. And I learned how to pray and read the Bible, something I never thought that I would find in the Catholic Church. Service events taught me how to serve people with love, not because it was an obligation. Guest speakers gave me a passion to learn more about our faith. And women's nights helped me discover my identity as a daughter of Christ. I now lead a Bible study of my own here, and I'm the service chair for the Newman Center, where I get to help people find their faith as this community helped me find mine. I am so thankful for everything that this Newman Center has done for me. It's made me a better person. It helped me discover the plan that God has for my life. I met my best friends here. I've made some of the best memories of my life here. And I will always remember our many late night shenanigans. And these people will always be my second family, my village away from home. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Rick Severy, and like many of you, I'm originally from St. Louis. And so I got here in the fall of '98, and I knew one person. I knew my roommate, and we had met. We were both transfer students, so we weren't freshmen. So we moved into a little apartment over on Forum Drive, and I had an advantage. I had started at Southwest Missouri State University in Springfield, and I experienced their huge Newman Center. I think there's 30,000 students there. You know, their Newman Center is very big, very well funded, and I actually got a leg up on the Awakening retreat there, and then got here in '98. And I told my roommate Jeff, I said, you know, we should look up the Newman Center. And he said, well, what's that? Because he was Catholic too. He went to Chaminade. And so I got out the phone book, and I looked up the number, and it's 364-2133. And I don't know why I still remember that number, but I called it, and the guy named James Tharp, who was the service chair at the time, answered the phone. Newman Center can help you. And it was a Wednesday night, and I said, hey, I'm Rick, we're new in town, we're transfer students, when is Mass? And he said, oh, it's tonight at 9 o'clock, show up. And we did. And I didn't know when we walked in that door that the people in the room, there was 80 people in that little bitty house, all going to 9 o'clock Mass on that Wednesday night. It was an amazing experience. So much of what she said was so true. All those years ago, this was 27 years ago. And the fellowship and the joy was there, and it was real. It was absolutely real. Looking around that room now, if I'm imagining it, we're friends to this day. The best friends I made in my life were here. And I've made some since. don't worry. But we ended up standing up in each other's weddings. We're each other's children's godparents. We've had late night phone calls for the last 25 years of, hey, can you pray for me? Can you pray for my family? My son is sick, we're in the hospital. I had a premature baby 7 years ago. And we got through it. We got through it because of the friends I made here. And we're all over the country. I'm in Valparaiso, Indiana, almost 500 miles away. We've got people in Kansas City that we know, all the way out in Colorado, Texas, and we all stay in touch to this day. So there was fellowship, there was activities, there was social events. We started the Awakening Retreat in 2000, and I was the first rector. And I can't take credit for it. There was a bunch of us. We went up to Truman to go on their Awakening Retreat twice. I had some experience down in Springfield, and we pulled it off. And all these years later, it's still going. I can't believe it. But since then, if you guys love that retreat, try the Curcio, because the Awakening was based on the Curcio movement. And since then, as I've started my family and my church life in Valparaiso, Indiana, the Curcio has been a big part of my adult ministry, if you want to call it that. And the people that I've met there are just as close as the people that I've met here. And yet they're at home 500 miles away with me. And they're some of the best friends that I have. So since then, I met my wife here also on a retreat. Surprise, surprise. It was in the fall of '99. It wasn't the Awakening retreat. We were at a little church in Licking, Missouri, St. John the Baptist Catholic Church on Highway N, I think. And we found that little bitty place, and we went down there for an overnight retreat. And I'm up in front of the group, giving the welcoming, Friday night talk. And there my wife is in front row. I had never seen her before. I had no idea who she was. And I found out on the night of our rehearsal dinner that at that moment she knew also, just like I did. And it was just an amazing, and I wish she was here. She's home with sick kids, so she wanted to be here, and I wish I'd share that with you. But it was such an amazing time, all those years ago, and all these years later. And we have 5 children. My oldest is going to Marian University to study theology and engineering. And that's in Indianapolis. And we got the letter a couple weeks ago. I'm so proud. She's got a Fulbright scholarship for all 4 years. Unbelievable. I'm so proud. Her name is Josephine. And we have 5 more children. We have 5 children. It's Josephine, Elizabeth, Christopher, Mary Catherine, and John. And they are, let me think, 18, 16, 14, 7, and 5. So it's a busy life, and I love it. I love every minute of it. And what started here stayed with me my whole life. My whole life. And I am so glad to still be a part of this wonderful place. And I really had the unique opportunity several years ago. The company I worked for had a booth at the career fair. And I was able to come to every career fair for over 11 years. And I remained very close with the metallurgy department and made some very, very good friends with some of the scary professors when I was a student. And friends to this day. Scott Miller's in the room. So, yes, right there.
Scary, really scary.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was terrified. But it was such a, I couldn't believe that it was only 4 years that we were here together. Myself and my friends and my roommates, we actually lived in the house that was next to the Newman Center. That was owned by a family, and then we had to tear both houses down to build the Higleys. Yes. Oh, how nice. Small world. But I remember it was, and I'll close with this funny story. It was the Valentine's Day party in 2001, and it was after we had had a couple of big retreats, and our attendance was just booming. I think we had over 100 students at Wednesday night mass. And Bob Woodley and I cranked up the stereo to 11 for the Valentine's Day dance, and I think we broke the floor. And I took Sister Renita into the basement over the pool table that we still have, and we're watching the floor joists break, like in real time. And she's looking at that, and I'm looking at her, and she's like, I think we need a bigger house. But anyway, thank you so much. I'm so delighted to have been a part of this place as much as I've gotten to come back all these numbers of times through the career fairs and through events like this. I love you all, and I hope that, and especially the students that are here, keep an open mind for the rest of your life and the involvement in your church wherever you go. Wherever you go back to St. Louis, Kansas City, Omaha, Nebraska, Houston, California, Alaska. There's a church waiting for you, and they need you. Because my church up there needs me. And I'll say goodnight and have a wonderful evening.
So I want to say thank you so much to Caroline and to Rick for sharing their experiences. My bride and I, Ellen, we also came to the Newman Center. We have experiences we've shared with a number of people. There are literally decades worth of students who have come through here and who have found their faith or refound their faith or matured their faith here at this Newman Center. Now, I have people who are looking at me and saying, so when are you going to start saying what you said you were going to say? Okay, because if you've heard me preach, you know that I can go rambling sometimes, and there are some particular things that I'm trying to say. So you will apologize, or I'm sorry, you will forgive me if I do a bit of reading here. Okay. So good evening, and thank you for being here. As you've heard, I'm Deacon Matt. I'm the director of campus ministry for the Rolla Newman Center, which that is an amazing statement in itself. As I said, I'm a Rolla alum myself. Some 37 years ago, Father Charlie Pardee, welcomed me back to the church in the small house that used to sit in the parking lot of what is now the Newman Center. I'd done some time in the Navy, I kind of wandered around, and I came back here, and I knew, I kind of stumbled back into it, but I knew this was where I needed to be. And so we spent a long time, and he welcomed me back with open arms. But little did I realize that one day, I would be called to follow in his footsteps, or just how much of a blessing that calling would be. I stepped into this position a little over 2 years ago as a part-time retirement gig. Didn't have a lot of expectations, kind of anticipated a steady state, things are going pretty well, I'll just keep them going and enjoy life kind of mode. We had a nice Newman Center, thanks to Sister Renita's work that Rick referenced. Vibrant, faithful Catholic community. And I saw it as basically maintaining the course, spending time with the students, right? My first semester here quickly changed my outlook. I noted the passion, the energy, and the potential for growth of the students, of the entire community. And, I had accepted this job, and now I started seeking guidance in prayer. Because I was starting to appreciate the extent of the call that I had answered. That summer, I went to a campus ministry training, and that further opened my eyes. And this is where I saw that I was part of something bigger than I could have imagined. You may not realize it, but Catholic campus ministries across the nation, they're exploding, they're growing, they're meeting a hunger that young people have. The same hunger that we had when we came through here seems to be magnified today, because the culture is going in a different direction. And God is calling these young people away from that direction, calling them to Himself. And Catholic campus ministry across the nation is being called to meet that need. So I learned that it's bigger than I thought. And I also learned how critical it is to have a community of support for prayer, for guidance, and for resourcing. As Peter learned some 2,000 years ago, when Christ steps into your boat, you need to be prepared to go out into deep water. And that's where we're heading. That's where we're heading. So I returned to Rolla from this training with a new passion, a new appreciation for how much more God had in store for me than I realized. And we started reimagining with Father Greg Meister, with the advisory council, with the students, just what campus ministry could mean here in Rolla. And as Sister Renita did 20 years before, when she envisioned and built the new Newman Center, we committed to hearing and to following God's guidance to bring the Newman Center to the next level. And things have really started moving. Our new pastor, Monsignor Greg Pigley, a son of Rolla, He provides really the ideal combination of support, guidance, and autonomy. He lets us do what we need to do. He tells us what he wants, and he lets us do it. Right? A beautiful form of leadership. And through God's grace, we've hired Garren, who's been speaking here today, to lead our development efforts. We were awarded a grant of $60,000 over a period of 3 years for contract support in standing up our development program. And we've expanded our advisory council, and for some of you here this evening, this may be of interest. We're looking at standing up an alumni advisory board, because you are the ones whose input we need for this ministry. We've been actively exploring potential growth areas with a lot of collaboration from our students and from others in the parish. We're examining the integration of credits from accredited Catholic coursework into S&T degrees. We're looking at expanding our ability to fund pilgrimages, service trips, leadership development programs, increased campus ministry, and spiritual direction. Ideas for the building include upgrading the library, refurbishing the downstairs gathering areas, remodeling worship spaces, and stretch dreams include Catholic student housing, a dedicated priest chapel, and expansion of our building. This is your Newman Center, and it is a vibrant and growing ministry with a core mission of developing future leaders for the Catholic Church. I'm into the can part. I'm seeing all you here, interested in what we're doing, wanting to be part of it. It really, really fills my heart. Excited doesn't even start. That's the word I'm looking for, excited. That doesn't start to describe it. If you were with us here last year, you remember that I spoke of the 3 legs of the stool of support. First and always, we crave your prayers. We ask you to bring us before God, the students, the workers, those who support us. We ask you to bring us before God in prayer. Bring this work before God in prayer. This is his work. And your support through prayer is absolutely essential. Second, no surprise, is our request that you partner with us financially. I've been supporting the Catholic Bishop of Northern Alaska. It's a mission diocese for decades. And one of their mottos is, some give by going, others go by giving. Without both, there is no mission. That is so true here. And finally, we need your ideas. We need your engagement. We know that God has great work for us. And we have some ideas on the staff, and the students have some great ideas. But you are the ones. You're the ones who are out there in the parishes. You're the ones who have been through this Newman Center and have experienced what has been offered, have brought it out into the parishes, and who really know what's needed in the Catholic Church today. Like I said before, we're developing an alumni council and other opportunities. So I'm asking that you prayerfully consider opportunities to participate in this effort. Okay, so that's kind of all I have. I'm just going to say thank you for joining us this evening. I do hope that you will come across the street and join us for the open house. But before that, I am going to turn you over to the tender mercies of Garren Gray, who will give you more information on how you can support the Newman Center. Thank you.
Thank you all. And thank you, Deacon, so much. Hello. Most of you here might know me. My name is Garren. I'm the new development coordinator here at Newman. Just to reinforce some of the things you've heard today that Deacon said, when I took this job, I did not see what God had in store. I didn't understand how the Newman Center would grow or be different. I didn't understand what his role for me was here. I saw the Newman Center as what it was for my 4 years, and I saw it as something pretty static. But I trusted that if Deacon really felt called to hire someone to grow the Newman Center, that God must have a plan. So I put my name in the bucket, and the council, the advisory board decided that I would be the best fit. And I'm so grateful that they did, and I'm so grateful to be here. Because having been a part of this mission and seeing the vision of what Newman has in store for the past couple of months now, I could not be more convinced that Deacon was right to follow this call into the deep unknown. This Newman Center is exploding with potential for what God can do through it. And I am so excited for the journey that it is going to take over the next 5 to 10 years. We have felt very called to follow Christ's path in this journey, and we are so excited to ask you to follow along with us. If this is pursued in faith and in prayer, there is going to be amazing change and amazing growth. We know that God works through us. We know that He has been doing it for 70-some years now. We have nearly 7,000 alumni who have been through this Newman Center and who have been changed. As Paul states, we are all part of one body. Some of us are the hands, some of us are the feet. We could not grow and flourish without every one of you being a part of the body. A lot of you here are alumni or parents, and I want to say that there's 2 things that you have that I don't have, that Deacon doesn't have, that none of our students have. First, you have real jobs that make actual money. I'm sorry to tell you, but we don't. And also, you have a deep wisdom in knowing how the Newman Center has impacted your lives, has impacted your children, has impacted the people around you. I mean, you've heard it today. And we have a proposal for each of these things we would kindly ask you to consider. For the first, we've calculated out rough costs per student here at the Newman Center, and they're a touch over $100 per student every month. If you are able and feel called, know that $100 a month is what it takes to give somebody else a life-changing, transformative experience that Caroline, Rick, myself, Deacon, and every one of you might have had. We have not had 1 year with this ministry that has been able to run without the help of donations. And we cannot continue to do what we've done for over 70 years without your help. Secondly, we would encourage you to get involved. Please pray for the Newman Center. Tell others about the work that is being done here and the importance of college ministry. And consider joining the Alumni Council that Deacon is putting together and help us discover God's path for us. If you feel called to give $50 or $100 a month, or to give annually what you can do so through our website, or through the same link on GiveButter that you bought your tickets on, so none of you have an excuse. And you also have wonderful cards at your table. You can either make a pledge, give by check, or give online. If you feel called to give wisdom and discernment, please call or text Deacon and myself, and we can get you in touch and find a path for you getting involved in this Newman Center. We want to hear from you and consult you as we're heading out into the deep. You will be crucial navigators on this journey. With all that said, thank you so much for coming. Know that we pray for you often, and that we are so grateful for the impact that we've been able to have as senior students. And we look forward to doing the same thing we've done for a long time, for many years to come. You guys are descendants of this ministry, and just like Abraham in the readings, we hope to have descendants as numerous as the stars, to really change not only your lives, but the churches that you guys go out into the parishes that you influence, the ministries that you serve on for the rest of your life. You guys are a gift to the church. So thank you. After this, we'll be having an open house at the Newman Center. Please, look at the cards at your table, consider donating, and join us and talk to us and talk with one another. We're really so thankful for your fellowship. Thank you for coming. Have a great day.
Yeah, this is it. Oh, you turned it off. How do I turn it back? How do I turn it back? Yeah, I'm an engineer. Okay, so this part is unscripted. It was not planned. I have two things. One is, so we don't have the screen working, so I wasn't able to show you something, but we do have a little bit of a teaser. We are developing a branding option for the Newman Center. Minor Catholic is what we're looking at, and so we have some images of that. So if you want to come over to the Newman Center and see that little surprise, please feel free to join us. And finally, I'm throwing him under the bus, but I'm going to ask Father Pat Dolan to do our closing prayer for us this evening.
I wasn't expected to be called to do this. However, I tried to mention in the homily, there's something of the kingdom that takes place whenever good is served in its many forms for the good of people. And obviously the church is a promoter of the kingdom among us. And what I heard tonight is kind of touching, the number of students have gone through the Newman Center, hopefully have got a gift from here to many parish communities throughout the country, which is very important, because you're talented young people who can allow so many skills that you already have to also be of service to faith and the church and others. So we bow our heads and pray. Gracious Father, as we gather here this evening, help us to be aware of the many, many alumni that are now serving people in different capacities, that they will witness to the good that is God's way of seeing creation. After each day, he saw that it was good. May that statement of God inspire us to continue the work of creation through the manifestation of his goodness. And so for the coming of that kingdom, we pray in the words that Jesus gave us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And Gunyali Ambor, that. That's a strange expression. It means, may the road rise to meet you. So if you have an accident, it will be on horseback back then. May the road come to meet you rather than you go to meet it. It's kind of a humorous way of saying, may you be lucky. I'm calling. Good luck to be with you.